right now on 5 on your side at 10.
No Paradise City for St. Louis this weekend. Guns N' Roses postponed tonight's big show. A look back at the band's infamous 1991 concert turned riot here in St. Louis.
How about this morning? Temperatures start off in the 40s and 50s throughout the state. How long we can hold on to this weather before things change over the next couple of days?
But first, new details in a deadly Hamilton Heights shooting.
It was senseless, and it was cold-blooded.
Why the victim's widow wants to make contact with the suspect's family. We want to thank you for joining us at 10 tonight. I'm Brent Solomon. Police have identified the man killed in Thursday's shooting as Jesse Jones. He owned a towing company and was working when he was shot. Diamond Palmer joins us now after catching up with his widow. Diamond.
Well, Brent, right now, Krista Jones says she's still searching for answers and justice for her husband's murder. Her days are filled with grief, shock, and a lot of tears. She tells me she's ready to continue to run her husband's towing business in his honor.
Less than a year ago, Krista Jones was celebrating her new marriage with Jesse Jones. But Thursday, she became a widow.
It makes you lose a little bit of faith in humanity.
Jones says her husband operated JJ's Towing and Recovery, and he'd done so since 2017. Thursday afternoon in the 5900 block of Hamilton Terrace in North St. Louis, Jesse was called to repossess a woman's car who was also in the process of moving. Jones describes the situation as her husband just trying to be a helping hand.
I said, well, come on, hop in. I'll drive you wherever we need to go, and then I'll help you unload. And that's what he did. And unfortunately, it was to his demise this time.
Jones knew something was wrong after Jesse quit answering his phone. The 45-year-old father was found shot in the left arm and was not breathing when police arrived. Saturday, the circuit attorney's office charged Dwayne Davis with first-degree murder, robbery, armed criminal action, and unlawful possession of a firearm.
The next and last time that I will ever see him will be to release him to the morgue so he will be cremated.
Through the pain of losing her husband and best friend, Jones is supported by family. She says she also hurts for the people on the other side of this tragedy.
We're not the only victims, and my heart goes out to them because in a sense, they've lost something too.
Jones tells me that in the next few days, she plans to reach out to the suspect's family because she understands they're dealing with loss too. Right now, police have not identified a motive, but anyone with information is urged to call the Homicide Division directly at 314-444-5371.
All right, thanks for that information, Diamond. Well, after months of car thefts, Hyundai owners in our area have access to a tool to prevent them. Today, officials at the Urban League handed out free anti-theft devices in Jennings. They partnered with St. Louis County to do it. A representative from Hyundai was on hand, saying that the goal here is to give you peace of mind.
We're going to make sure that 600 to 1,000 people this weekend feel safer about their Hyundai in St. Louis, and that's key.
There's another opportunity to get one of these devices tomorrow from 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. You can stop by Urban League in Jennings. You don't need an appointment. Today, a local family awarded a $745 million settlement due to a tragic car crash. 22-year-old Trenton Geiger is in prison after pleading guilty to involuntary manslaughter. He was found huffing fumes before colliding into the urgent care that 25-year-old Marissa Polittle worked in. The jury found United Brands Corporation responsible for 70% of the verdict and Coughing Cardinal LLC for 20%. Those companies created or sold a nitrous oxide dispenser that Geiger inhaled just before that crash. They found Geiger was only responsible for 10%. Let's get now to your weather first forecast. A lot of activities happening this weekend around St. Louis. Meteorologist Gary Frank letting us know if the weather will hold up.
Yeah, first half was pretty good. We start off nice and cool this morning, and that's where we are now. It is nice and cool, and if you haven't opened your windows, it's probably because you've got allergies. We understand that. We'll update you on the allergies here shortly. Right now, temperatures, though, still at 71 in the city. Otherwise, we're in the low to mid 60s outside of the city. That north breeze continues. 59 in Chesterfield. And this is a morning where, you're headed for the low 50s, even upper 40s in Chesterfield, among other spots. We're going to see a steady diet the next couple of days. And as we remain with that northerly flow, we'll see a little bit more sunshine tomorrow. I think we'll start to heat things up a little bit. But for tonight, my goodness, we have some of these numbers that are headed for the low 50s. Once again, it's crisp, it's cool, but we will see a few changes as well as tomorrow. We'll talk about why it's one of the warmest days we're looking at over the next few days and track our next chance for rain as well, Brett.
All right, Gary, let's check in shortly. Taking a live look now at an empty Busch Stadium. St. Louis was supposed to be Paradise City for tonight's Guns N' Roses concert, but that show was abruptly postponed due to illness. People with tickets are asked to hang on to them. The cancellation adds to the band's rocky relationship with St. Louis. Back in 1991, a dangerous riot broke out at a Guns N' Roses concert at what was now known as the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Well, 90 minutes into the concert, lead singer Axl Rose dove into the crowd, angry about a fan bringing in a camera. The chaos injured dozens of concert goers.
They were tearing out entire rows of chairs, throwing them on the stage. VIP chairs were going on the stage. They were tearing half the stage down. They had speakers were going out into the crowd.
16 people were arrested that night. A year after the riot, Axl Rose was arrested for inciting it. He was sentenced to probation and had to pay a fine. This weekend's show would have been the second time the band performed in St. Louis since 1991. Guns N' Roses played the Dome back in 2017. No word yet on a rescheduled show. Another Republican enters Missouri's governor's race.
If you're going to want to be the governor of the state of Missouri, tell me what you're going to do.
Who the current governor hints he might want on the job.
Well, so far to start off the month, it's been pretty dry. It's the 48th driest start to September, which is not all that impressive, but you're likely noticing it. What we're going to see over the next few days, and if we can even get that over the next week.
Well, several presidential hopefuls are back in Iowa today. Candidates running in the Republican primary for president attended a tailgate rally ahead of an in-state rivalry football game. Former President Trump leading the polls as his rivals are trying to gain traction ahead of the Iowa caucuses. Missouri State Senator Bill Eigel announced he is running for governor. He had already started an exploratory campaign, but just launched his bid last night. He joins Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe and Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft in the Republican primary. Governor Parson has not officially endorsed any of them, but has hinted he would prefer someone who is not critical of his administration.
As governor, I want to make sure somebody's going to follow what we've built. We've built one heck of a foundation in this state.
Property taxes are out of control in this state. We ought to be having those kind of big red Republican victories here in the state of Missouri, but we're not, so we're missing the boat.
Right now, Missouri House Minority Leader Crystal Quaid is the only person running on the Democratic primary. Inside the mind of a serial killer, our I-Team gets a close look at interrogation videos of the so-called package killer. See the exclusive footage next. Getting inside the mind of a serial killer. This month marks 1 year since an inmate was charged as the package killer. It ended a nearly 30-year mystery surrounding the murders of 4 women. Christine Byers has exclusive video for us from his confession and the reaction from one victim's family.
It's not even valuable enough to even use it for a swipe.
Sandra Keenly is talking about this letter serial killer Gary Muehlberg wrote to the families of his victims. He titled it Searching the Soul and writes, "I must say and want to say how truly sorry I am for what I've done."
He only is sorry because you know, he knows he's going to rot in hell.
Keenley's daughter Robin was 19 when she vanished from the Cherokee Street Stroll in South St. Louis, as it was known in the early 1990s. Her body was found stuffed between two mattresses along an O'Fallon, Missouri highway.
33 years and it's still like it was yesterday. And especially when you have to identify a body of your daughter and to see how she was tortured.
DNA from her case led Detective Jody Weber to Gary Muehlberg in the spring of 2022. He was already serving a life sentence for the murder of a man who tried to buy a car from him in 1993.
I'm Sergeant Jody Weber. I'm with the O'Fallon Police Department.
On June 30th, 2022, Detective Weber finally got the chance to confront him, and he wasn't in the mood for small talk.
I guess you don't get many visitors?
Get to the chase.
10 minutes in, Weber pulled her ace. She told him she had his DNA at Robin's scene.
Does that ring a bell at all, Robin?
No, I don't remember it.
She tried using his life sentence as leverage to get him to talk.
I mean, I don't know how they can give you anything more.
Yeah, the death penalty.
47 minutes in.
We're done talking. We're done talking.
5 weeks later, the detectives brought letters from prosecutors pledging not to pursue the death penalty.
I got you what you wanted.
Okay, so now what?
So I'd like to start with Robin.
Do you recall the mattresses?
Yeah. It's painful as hell.
Muehlberg talked for nearly 3 hours.
Do you remember doing it?
Vaguely. I mean, I'm thinking I had sex with her and paying her.
He told detectives he kept some of the victims alive for a day or two and struggled for an explanation.
Is there a possibility there's more?
No. I come from good family, good people. Thinking back where my mind was, something set something off. Thank God it didn't last very long.
Then Muehlberg looked directly into Weber's body camera.
For what it's worth, I'm sorry.
It means a lot.
No, I don't. Sorry don't make it right.
He said he was relieved after coming clean.
Definitely one of the saddest days in my life, but also one of the best, because the truth is out here. No more pretending.
3 weeks later, the detectives returned. This time, the killer talked about a fifth victim police have still not identified. Muehlberg says he left her in a barrel outside a car wash.
I remember taking her there in my van and leaving her there after I washed my truck.
Muehlberg said other prostitutes survived.
I didn't plan all this out before I picked them up.
During their last visit, they talked about Muehlberg's life too.
In college, you got your degree in
Psychology. Study of the human behavior and the human mind, and look where I sit. I must have missed the course of doing right.
Muehlberg went on to appear only via Zoom in all of the hearings that followed. Another heartache for Robin's mother.
When I faced him in court, and I mean, he never said a word.
She remains unmoved by the sorrow Muehlberg talked about during his confessions.
He's nothing but a monster.
And she says he can keep his apologies. As a result of these interrogations, Muehlberg pleaded guilty and got 4 more life sentences, which means even with good behavior, he will never be free again. For the I-Team, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
Great work there, Christine. Let's switch gears now and head to your Weather First forecast. Meteorologist Gary Frank standing by with that. Hey, Gary.
Hey, good evening, Brent. We had a nice evening for the soccer game at City Park. It's all lit up, and still at this moment, but it was very pleasant outside. As we look at our current temperatures, though, holding steady. We're in the 70s. We've dipped down to the low 70s. A north-northeast breeze now at 6 miles an hour. We got to 81 today. 83 is our average, so a little bit below average, not only in the morning but the afternoon, but as close to it as we can get here so far. Key for us, though, is the drier air that's settled in, and we have clouds and storms that have developed off to our northwest, but they're certainly not going to get here or impact us whatsoever. Our current dew points are in the mid-50s, and that's kind of a good baseline as to where we look at probably where we're going to see our low temperatures fall tonight, and this is where that fall-like feel comes into play. Very, very nice. Our temperatures, unless they dry up more, wouldn't fall too much more, but trust me, they're going to be that way over the next few days. Crisp morning again. Nice morning to open up your windows. 7:20 our sunset tomorrow, and temperatures are headed for the mid Mid to upper 80s tomorrow. I think we'll get closer to about 83 or 84 degrees. So very pleasant once again. A little bit warmer. We're still on the tail end of that, but that northerly breeze keeps us humidity free. And that's going to be the case over the next few days. Then we'll see even cooler weather Monday into Tuesday and the next few days. And what that means for us, our departure from average, I just showed you, 83. We're going to be below that by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This blanket of blue will also bring and tail into a few light showers possible Monday, late into early Tuesday. But we're still looking for more rain. This is Lee, an update, now a 105-mile-an-hour wind as it's still a Category 2 storm. It will strengthen back into a 3, but right now, even though it goes up to a 4, it looks like it's going to curve away from the United States and therefore not impacting us. Our rain over the next few days is lackluster, and as we look at our current drought monitor, it has snuck back in, and our 10-day forecast doesn't show much rain at all. Temperatures in the mid-80s tomorrow and then mid-70s the rest of the week. A slight chance for rain. We're not getting more than 1/4 of an inch there, and we'll hope for Thursday. Otherwise, it's dry the next few days.
All right, we'll take dry. Thank you, my friend. We've got Corey standing by with sports.
Well, it was not supposed to be a close game in Columbia, Missouri tonight, but that's exactly what we ended up with. Mizzou football fans, how you feeling right now? See how Middle Tennessee tried for a Faroe Field repeat next in sports.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
And they had another upset on their minds tonight. Brady Cook and Eli Drinkwitz trying to move to 2-0, favored heavily in this game, and it was not pretty. Let's just put it at that. It's tied at 10 right here when Cook finds Theo Wees for a touchdown to calm everybody down just a little bit. But then later, Cook finds a wide open Nate Pete, long touchdown. Even that wasn't enough to end this game, though. It's 23-17, and Cook fumbles into the end zone. That's a safety, and Middle Tennessee got the ball back. Mizzou was able to stop them and hang on for a 23-19 win, but it was ugly, folks. Luther Burton did have 8 catches for 117 yards tonight in a career-high game. City SC and the Cardinals may be on the road, but it's still a busy sports weekend in St. Louis. Golf and soccer have the spotlight from Norwood Hills to City Park. Golf first, the second round out at the Ascension Charity Classic. Big crowds once again. Colin Montgomery had a shot of the day with an ace, but there's no video of it. So here's the second best shot of the day. Ken Duke with his second shot on 16, and it goes in for an eagle. Duke trails Kevin Sutherland and this man, Y.E. Yang, by just 1 stroke for the lead. Here is Duke on his round 2 65.
We had a lot of good numbers out there today, and my tempo and my swing was really nice, except the last couple of holes. But besides that, it was, when you're that way, it's like riding a bike. You just grab the club and hit it like you're on the range, and you just try to have fun and be focused on where you want it to end up.
It was another fun Legends Charity Challenge at Norwood today as well. That was Ozzie Smith. Here's Chris Pronger with a big drive. And here's Robert Thomas showing off his wedge game. Fantastic shot there. Hale Irwin even broke out a hockey stick Happy Gilmore style for a putter. And even though these professional athletes are great at their own sports, there is still pressure with eyes on you on the golf course, at least for some.
It's funny, you can play hockey in front of 18,000, but as soon as more than 10 people watch you golf, you're a little nervous and shaken. So we'll see how we do out there.
I'm not too worried about it. I'm not too worried about it. It takes a lot of effort to be better. I put just enough in to stay where I'm at.
Now let's go over to City Park. Local boy Tim Reen, Christian Pulisic, and the U.S. men's national team facing Uzbekistan in a friendly. Before the game, former St. Louis national team players were honored. What a St. Louis soccer legacy we have. Fireworks early, 4th minute, Tim Weah kicked things off with a fast goal. It was a little nerve-wracking for a good portion of this game, but the U.S. got a couple late. Here's what folks came to see. Superstar Christian Pulisic scores on the PK. USA wins in St. Louis 3-0. The national team is unbeaten in the last 11 games they've played here in St. Louis. Cardinals continuing their series in Cincinnati tonight, and second half Wilson Contreras just continues to mash. He destroys this one over Harrison Bader's head for a 2-run shot. Wilson had 3 RBIs tonight. Here's the hit that put the Cards ahead for good. Lars Nootbaar off the wall to score a Mason win. Brian Helsley would come in to close it out, and the Cardinals win 4-3. Congrats to Coach. Did it back in 1999. Lots going on in the sports world.
Yeah, and you saw her just taking a moment to take it all in at the end there.
She met with her dad and her mom in the stands, and Dad cried, and she ratted Dad out. She said that's the first time she's ever seen Dad cry. But I think it's warranted when you win the U.S. Open.
Yeah, it certainly is. Thank you so much for that. All right, very quickly, Gary.
Yeah, for the final day of the golf tournament tomorrow, it's going to start out nice. I mean, we're going to continue to see nice weather over the next few days. Pretty dry Monday to Tuesday, and then next week we're going to break out the layers, maybe even in the afternoon. So get used to that here over the next few days.
Will do. Thank you, my friend. That's all of our time at 10. Thanks for the company. We hope you have a great night.